Yes, this is Sai Kumar Kortiwada. In this video, we will learn how to test a input decorator where we are using a parent-child communication. When we are passing the data from our parent to child, then how we can check that input decorators. So let me quickly jump into Visual Studio Code. Here already we have created one input decorator where we'll be having one child element, and also we have one component called as app component. This child component has been injected in our app component.html, and we are passing some data from our ts file to this app child that is rendering on your UI. Let me go and show you something like local host colon 4200. So you can see something like parent data updated, and this is the static code, and this is the dynamic code where the data is passed from your parent. So we'll try to test this input decorator in our application. So let me go to app component.spec file, and inside the spec file, let me register our child component. So child component is my component which is registered for our test cases. And now let me create two variables. One is fixture, which is having a type of component fixture, which is of having app component as a type, and let component instance colon, which is of type app component. So I have created two variables, and let me assign that variables once our test bed is compiled with our components. So let me give fixture is equal to testbed dot create component of app component. I have created an component for app component, and that fixture has been assigned. And now let me get component instance from the created fixture dot component instance. This will create the instance, and it will give the instance to our component instance. And now let me create the first test case with an it description. The description is something like input default value check. And now let me use a arrow function, and inside this arrow function let me detect this fixture dot detect changes. And once the detection is done, then I'll update this by, and whenever this fixture is stable, then I'll get a promise based output. And for this, let me use a arrow function, and inside this arrow function let me get the child element which is of type HTML paragraph element. And this I can get it from fixture dot debug element dot native element dot query selector of, what is my selector? Let me give the selector first. Let me go into the child component.html, and inside this let me create one id is equal to child element id. And let me copy this child element id and paste inside this by using a hash. Why? Because we are using an id. And let me go here and semicolon enter. So we have created our child element, and let me save this html file. Now let me get this inner html. So what is my inner html of this child element? Expect of child element dot inner html, that should be equal to my string, which is equivalent to the static string. Let me copy this static string and paste inside this, and let me get the dynamic value which we are passing from our parent. So I can use my component instance dot parent title and save this. So if you see, we are checking the data which we are passing from our parent and whether it is rendering in my child or not. And the two test cases has been successfully passed. One is the default one, and the second one is this one. So whether the component is created or not, and the second one is whether the input field is receiving the value and rendering in my child component. And the second case is if I update my parent value, update parent value to render in child, and this is having a callback function. Let me go into the callback function, and here inside the callback function let me use a component instance dot parent title is equal to, I'll just use updated. And now let me update my fixture dot detect changes. Once the detection is done, then I can use when stable, and this will be a promise based. Inside the then I can use a callback function, and inside this callback function let me get the value now. So same thing, just use these two lines of statements and paste here, but this time the child works will be having this updated keyword. So I can either use a component instance dot parent title, or I can just use updated and save this. If you see, 3 successfully passed. So that is how when we are updating our parent element or parent property which is linked up with my child property, then that child property will get updated in its HTML content. So this is how we can test our input decorator in our Angular. And also, I want to let you know about TechZet. TechZet is a platform on Medium where you can learn all the backend stuff. Mainly, it is focused on the Adobe Experience Management, Magento, as well as OSGI, along with the basics of Java. And you can see the Sling framework completely. So just have a click on the link below in the description and have a look on this Medium blog. If you like, please like, share, follow Medium blog. So hope you like my explanation. If you like my video, like, share, subscribe to my channel for more updates. Signing off. Thank you.